What is going on today, YouTube? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Today's video focusing on support in Open Beta 10. Open Beta 10 brought us a few new tank items. So far, only 3 are in. Contagion, Dwarven, and Freya's tiers are the 3 that are in. We'll talk about those individually, but I just wanted to go through a whole rambling about support, builds I think you should be going for. I want to take also a look back at how my builds were looking of an idea going into this patch, and kind of how close was I to, being correct with all of them. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of the content that we are providing in Smite 2. Looking at the builds, these were the 5 ideas I had going into this patch. There was an idea behind all of them. This first one was more of like a, let's try to build some of the more efficient tier 2 fully itemized, fully one-side items. So Spectral, 50 protections, 150 health. Semi-cheap. Phoenix Feather, 35 procs, 300 health. Somewhat cheap. The issue with this build is that, 1, Phoenix Feather is not very good. Flat out, it's not very good. A lot of times you're getting anti-healed. You can't get good use out of it. The damage is pretty useless. It's just a pretty underwhelming item altogether. Spectral's not too bad, though, but if you wanted to, try Spectral and no Phoenix Feather, try something else. A lot of times, Spectral into just like Ankh would be better, or Spectral into like a Pharaoh's Curse would just be better. Phoenix Feather is just not very good. The second one, a Thebes into Yogi's Necklace. Kind of just go into a health build. Try to just sustain through it with the Yogis. Have a ton of health that they can't get through in the early game. And it feels fine for the first 10 minutes. And then it just falls off a cliff. Soul Reavered. You're just getting anti-healed. So you're not getting the passive heal on Yogis. You're just getting the health regen. It didn't feel very good. But it's not bad. The third build, Selflessness into Eye of Providence and Ruinous Ankh. This one's okay. Eye of Providence I feel like should be better than it is, but every time I buy it, I just feel like I'm not getting any value out of it. I'm not a fan, but it's like there's potential there. Having wards is good, but going into this active means you can't get another active elsewhere. Ankh is always going to be at least okay, but yeah, I don't love this one. Probably the best build of the patch so far is just Thebes into Spirit Robe. A lot of health on Thebes. Spirit Robe gives you a lot of protections, and it also gives you sustain off of the health that you get from Thebes. This is like the one build where I've tried it, and I'm like, yeah, this feels good. I'm tanky. Do I do much damage most of the time? Not really, but at least I don't insta-die. So I think this fourth build is really, really good. If I'm playing support, I'm either building this or one of the 2 builds that I've cooked up that we'll talk about in a moment. And lastly, Cloak Rush. Just outright, I think Cloak is pretty underwhelming now. It is bad early game. So when you're supposed to be the tankiest is the early game. You're not tanky early game with Cloak. It takes too long to get stacked, so even like the mid game when you'd want it to be stacked to be tanky, you're not getting it stacked. And then by the late game when you have it stacked, you're just getting shredded through because they have 3k pots. They're 6 items deep. It's just overall a pretty underwhelming item. And on top of that, it's one of the most expensive items. Actually, I think out of all these items, other than Spirit Robe, it is the most expensive. And Spirit Robe's just better 90% of the time. So maybe you're thinking that I don't think support's very strong in this patch. I think it's okay. And let me talk about why I think it's okay. I think for a couple reasons, I think it is okay. And let's start by talking about the new items. So far, they've only added in 3 of the items. Contagion, which after using it, I think this item is pretty underwhelming. It's very easy to come across health in most builds, and it's very difficult to come across protections in most builds. I.e., Ruinous Ankh 90% of the time is going to be feeling better than Contagion. They both have that cap of 75%. Yes, Contagion's is a little bit easier to get, but the stats of Ruinous Ankh are just way better. It just feels better as an item to have. Unless you're going at first item, maybe Ankh doesn't feel as good. Maybe this health and regen is better on Contagion. Like, outside of that, I think Ankh is just better 95% of the time. The next item is Freya's Tears. This is one that I was a little underwhelmed with coming into this patch, and I'm still pretty underwhelmed with it. The stats, I mean, giving 20 cooldown with 20 Fizz procs, 25 magical procs is not bad, but the passive is really underwhelming. I have to get to half health just to get some value, and even then, that value only lasts 5 seconds per 25% health I lose. So if, I get taunted, get blown up to half health, and then my team re-engages as I back up, I'm going to be useless going into the next fight because I won't have another proc as Freya's Tears. That's actually going to be useful. It's like a Spirit Robe that's just statted worse, kind of just outright. Well, not statted, but passive and stats just outright worse. The only thing you're really getting with Freya's Tears is the cooldown, which can be valuable, don't get me wrong. But the passive is just worse. The 40 physical protections you're getting here, and then the heal is just going to feel better most of the time. But the one that I am most impressed with is Dwarven Plate. And I think this one has offered up an opportunity to be tanky to a comp that's building 4 physicals or 4 magical damage dealing characters. And it kind of got me thinking also, maybe I can get a build to work around with this. And that gets me to the second build that I think you can run on this patch. So the first one is the obvious one. I'm just going to show you it just so you can kind of see. It'll just be a pretty basic Thebes into, I'm not stacking the Thebes either. Thebes into Spirit Robe, and then kind of whatever you want after this. A lot of the time, Xerxes is really good. Sometimes you can go like Nemean and Onis. You can go something like Spectral to slow down their auto attacks. There's a few different options to go. You can also just go like Ankh. Sorry, not Levi's side. That item stinks. Pharaoh's Curse, and just have, you know, a good amount of health, a good amount of protection. It's just all around be pretty tanky. This build is good. Do not get me wrong. This build is good. You could run this, be pretty tanky through the early and mid portions of the game. Not do a ton of damage, but, you know, you're just a meat shield. But the second build that I think is a lot more fun, and I think has a lot more potential, is if you're playing against, like I said, 4 physicals or 3 physicals when they just have 2 magic damage dealers that one is either really far behind or one of them just doesn't do a ton of damage and you're not going to worry about them too much. And it is kind of like what Scream likes to do in jungle. It's just the Legionnaire armor build. So just getting these 6 items for 4,500 gold, you're getting about 120 protections. It's going to be just a shade under that. It's going to be 108 protections, I think is what it's going to be. Let's count it. 30. Yeah, 108. So you're getting 108 protections from these. The best part about these, well, realistically, you only get 5. The best part about these is you get these 5 online very quickly. And yes, you're not going to have much health with this. You get a little bit from the selflessness. You'll get a little bit when you level up, yada, yada. But it comes from 2 items that you can upgrade into. Spectral, which, you know, once you're through those 5 Legionnaires, you upgrade one into a Spectral, upgrade one into a Void Shield, and then you just go Dwarven Plate. And just like that, level 20, I'm 3,100 health with 300 Fizz Prots and 120 magical protections. And I have 3 items that I can really build into whatever I want. The semi-issue is not a lot of these items are very good, but like Binding is buyable. Stampede's obviously purchasable. You can go Spirit Robe. There is purchasable lines. Or you can go the opposite, which is just get this base build down and then just start buying into 3k pots and try to carry through your damage and just have as much tankiness in these cheap items as you can have. Because if you look at the build, really not all that expensive. You have your starter item. This is 750, 750, 750. This is 23. I don't remember what Void is, 25 or something. And then 28. You could pretty realistically finish this build at the same time that a mid laner is finishing their build. Maybe even be finished a little bit before them because of how much gold you're getting in support with, you know, heroism and selflessness. I think this build is going to be a lot of fun. Something that I've just been messing around with that I'm going to be trying out over the next few days. So if you guys are watching this video, come check it out. Maybe ask about my thoughts on stream if I've been able to get a few games in. But I think this build will be a lot of fun. And there's also the other way of building it. The only semi-issue that I see with the magical side of it is most of these items stink. When you're building into, you know, Circlet of Protection, or Circle of... I thought it was Circlet. I swear it was Circlet for years. And by years, I mean a year. Circle of Protection, it's going to be slightly statted better with 22 magical prots, but the problem is there's only 2 truly buildable items out of this entire stack. It's Ancile and it's Spirit Robe. And with the build that you have, extra protections with Spirit Robe isn't going to feel that good. But say you go just this, and then you buy your Dwarven Plate, and maybe you're a magical character, and you can go Void, and that kind of bails you out maybe a little bit. But just going something like this also, I mean, 290 magical protections, 2,900 health. So there's an opportunity both ways. I think these tier 2s might have to be the tech for a lot of these support builds because you look at most of these and it's 20, 25 protections for 2,300 gold. So if you just buy a few items that have just really good stats, that might be just like the way to play the game in tank rolls right now. I was kind of messing around with building a health item to start into a few of these, but kind of just delays your build a lot and it doesn't make you feel that much tankier. So yeah, mess around with this. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know any builds that you guys have been working on support that you guys have been seeing a lot of success with. I'm curious to know. But yeah, make sure you guys are following the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys have fun today. I'll see you guys again next time. Peace.